You're about to watch a Trains Newswire video. If you enjoy what you see, consider watching some of our other full-length videos. Hotspots, Horseshoe Curve, Tehachapi, Chicago Racetrack, and more. Locomotive, the video companion to our best-selling special issue. And a special collection from documentary producer Rich Luckin. All these and more are available from our website, kalmbachhobbystore.com. Good morning, Trains Nation. Hey, today is Friday, November 9th, 2018, all day until midnight. We're so glad you could join us for another episode of Trains Newswire Roundup. I am Steve Sweeney.
And I'm Brian Schmidt.
Hey, again, so glad you could join us. Hey, Brian, I want to start off with a number today. The number is 16.
Is that the percentage of oil traffic increase year over year?
Yeah, actually it is.
How about that?
It is, but it's a different number.
We surprised Steve. I read Newswire.
Well, no, that's okay. No, 16% is the crude oil traffic increase so far this year, but also 16 is how many unique byline stories we have so far on Newswire this week.
Oh, there you go.
And by a byline story, I mean a reporter working for Trains Magazine got information that he or she would not have gotten otherwise without making a phone call, listening in on an investor conference, or sending an email to someone and getting new information, and then wrote up an official story. We're not talking copy and paste, we're talking real good journalism.
There's a name for that. It's called reporting.
It's called reporting, and it's on Trains Newswire, and you're not going to get this about railroading anywhere else in the world, at least in English language. And it's all on Newswire right now, and there's going to be more stories coming up later today.
When you read the news every day to figure out what's going on, how many different languages do you read of railroad news?
Well, there's English, and then occasionally there's French, but I don't understand it because there's some Canadian stuff coming up, like 5,000 layoffs for Bombardier. But so far, and I'm just jumping into the news now, 5,000 layoffs at Bombardier. We got a short story coming up that I'm going to rewrite, from official news releases, but it doesn't affect the railroading division, which is kind of good news for our colleagues in rail. And Bombardier also announced today that they have, or yesterday or today, that they have sold 33 additional locomotives in Europe, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. But I was thinking of wearing a hard hat today, and I actually have it. I have it underneath here just in case. We've had so many runaway trains lately. You had a story about one, or you're going to have a story about one, correct?
I did.
Or I think David, about a runaway train in Canada, went like 450 feet.
I'm Brian.
I know.
David's going to have the story.
I know. David's going to have the story. And then there was a runaway train earlier this week in Australia. You saw about that one.
Yeah. Purposely derailed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, freaky. Ran almost 60 miles.
They should make a movie about something like that.
Oh. The train was almost unstoppable. But R.J. Corman. Do you have opinions on this one?
I like red.
I like red too. Train's red. R.J. Corman red. Train's red. R.J. Corman, if you haven't heard, is buying or has agreed to buy the Nashville and Eastern, the Nashville and Western Transit Solutions Group, I think it's the name of it, that operates the Music City Star in Nashville. Basically, R.J. Corman is buying out everything that's not CSX and Norfolk Southern as far as railroading goes in and around Nashville, Tennessee, which is kind of interesting. R.J. Corman operates short lines across the country, but this is the first time they're sort of taking over an entire market.
They have a Memphis area operation, so they're in the area already.
Correct.
Yeah.
They're in the state. So it's interesting. I got some things to talk about. What piqued your interest so far this week?
Photo charter. We got to get this in here for Jim because Jim's not here.
All right.
You have another chance to go see Skookum.
That's right.
The famous wrecked, is it a 2442 or
2442?
Yeah, in Oregon, right?
Yep. It's going to be in Garibaldi, Oregon.
Yeah, and they're doing. We sold out one photo charter, and we had enough interest to do a second section. That's going to be in March 2019 to coincide with Winter Rail Weekend. You can get more details on Newswire if you're interested in taking part in that. And the cool thing is, it really is a one-time event because after the charter, the locomotive is going to go to a new home down in California.
I believe
right?
so.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
So
They did the rebuilding in Oregon, and then it's going to move on to somewhere else.
Yeah. So even if we wanted to do this again a year or two from now, the locomotive won't be there. It's your one shot to go get it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they're going to also stage
Yeah.
it with the other locomotives they have out there in Oregon too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
One other thing I have, which has us a little bit excited here in Wisconsin, is that the CN is teasing bringing back and expanding its Santa train this year, which it's run for employees, families, and friends. So you got to know somebody usually to get on board to see it. It's run in the past, certainly on the old Grand Trunk in Michigan, and I think it's made some appearances in Illinois, but this will be the first time it's come to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They teased it, we've got it on Newswire, they teased it in a Facebook post yesterday, and we're looking for more details and a schedule. When we have them, we'll let you know.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting, especially if they run it through our neck of the woods, because the CN runs right through here, through Waukesha, and up behind my house, basically.
Yeah.
6 miles away, so there's a lot of rolling hills and open countryside.
And
That would be
CN
fun
did
to see.
mention Wisconsin in the tease that it would be coming somewhere
That's
here
right.
in the state.
Well, they basically bisect the state,
Yeah.
so going all the way
Yeah.
up to Iron Range. So that's kind of cool. Couple of things more on steam and preservation. Southern Pacific number 18, that's the narrow gauge locomotive 460, is safely ensconced in Durango right now. It will be running, getting more run time because it really hasn't had more than a quarter mile at any point since it's been restored in the past 2 years. It's going to run on the Durango and Silverton in Colorado, and it's also oil fired, so it's going to train the crews in Durango how to work an oil fired locomotive, because they will be converting some of their coal burners to oil to reduce the chance of fire threat in future years. In upstate New York, going from the west all the way to the east, interesting, we've got a story from Dan Catay outside of Albany on the Adirondack Scenic Railroad, and just when you thought they were out, the state pulled them back in. And it looks like the state of New York is going to change some things and have a hearing to make it possible to rip up tracks, rip up rails in upstate New York and shorten the Adirondack Scenic. They had won an earlier case in 2018 from a judge, and judge said, nope, state, you're wrong. You have to leave the rails in place. The state's going and trying again and doing a different method to try and change that. Full story on Newswire.
It's one of those byline stories that you mentioned too.
That's right, it is. It is one of those byline stories, which is kind of cool. I'm not going to mention much about it here except that we have them. We've got 2 byline stories from California and from Montana on elections across the U.S. And what it meant for high-speed rail and for transit initiatives and ballot propositions, so read that on Newswire.
Montana Rail Link is in the news.
Yes, it
You
is.
can find out. It's everybody's favorite. All we have to do
That's
is
right.
mention it, and you will all go to Trains Newswire
And you'll see
to
it.
find out. There's 2 stories.
There was one story earlier this week, and there's going to be another one coming out later today.
Okay.
But you'll have to check Newswire to see what those are, courtesy of our Montana correspondent, Justin Franz. Justin Franz is all over that. We also have information on the New River train. Amtrak has increased the amount of money it will charge for private varnish, private charter trains, private cars moving, and it may endanger the New River train. We got a full story on that this week from Chase Cano. So all those stories and more. I don't know what you are all doing this weekend, but I'm going to try and get out and visit the steam locomotive in Hartford, Wisconsin, the 1003, the 1003 Sioux Line locomotive. It's going to be appearing as, I guess, the Santa's sleigh to take Santa Claus into the Santa Claus Parade or Holiday Parade in Hartford. And it's going to be beautiful out as far as pictures go. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be cold, but not too cold, with some snow, which means it's going to be absolutely fantastic for a steam locomotive picture.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see you up there.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And don't go to Rubicon, Wisconsin, because that's where I'm going to be. All right. For everyone at Trains, have a great weekend, guys.